No, no. Okay. So, there we go. Alright. Good. Good. Okay. So just making sure that I can be heard. So just making sure. Okay. Alright. So, good. Alright. So let's play some Senua's Sacrifice. There we go. So I just made sure, just took a little bit longer because I had to make sure that I had my audio set up right. Like my microphone, since I bought a new headset with a microphone this time. So now when I play on PS4, y'all can actually hear me. Especially, it's a lot easier when it comes to the chat. When I see your messages, at least, I will be able to respond to them with the microphone, instead of having to really unhandily stop what I'm doing and type everything out. So yeah, this is a little bit better. At least I would hope so. Alright, here we go. So, what I did this far, I got that fancy shiny blue sword out of there after doing all those trials. Now we're moving on to the next part, which I don't know yet where we're going. So we'll see what happens now. Great, the voices are back.
We found her. We found you. We thought we'd lost her. Where have you been? Here she is. Don't worry. We're here to help you. You don't have to do this on your own anymore. You need us. We were worried. We're here to help you. You need us. So worried. Silence is lonely. We didn't know where you'd gone. We're here to help you. Don't worry. You can trust us. Trust us. Senua, it's us. We won't leave you. Hello. Don't leave us. We're here to stay. She needs us. She needs us. She needs our help. She always does. We found her. We found her. We found you. Here she is. We're back. Don't worry, Senua. We'll look after you. Don't worry. Make sure you're safe. She's safe now. You're always safe with us. She has us. You've done so well, Senua. You've come so far. Listen, Senua. Listen. You've done so well. Listen to us. We talk to you. Listen, Senua. We're here. We'll help you. We're here to help you. We'll help you go even further than you've been before. You don't have to do this alone.
I just gotta figure out where am I supposed to go.
There's a door. You can do it. You can see it. Come on, Senua.
Go away. I'm not listening.
That's the door I came from. Or not. Where the hell did I come from? I don't even remember anymore. So, hello to anyone watching. Make sure to say hi in the chat. Should be able to see the messages on there. If not, I would have to change that. So let me just make sure. Just trying to make sure here that I can see what's going on here. There we go. Alright, so this should work. Just test this out. Should be able to. Alright, so hopefully that will work. And if you're watching, don't mind, don't be afraid to shoot in a quick message. I will, of course, always try to say hi and see what's going on. Alright, onward we go. So, apparently I'm right here. Hello. This leads.
I will tell you of a great hero named Sigurd, son of Sigmund, no less. Born after his father's death, Sigurd is cared for by the dwarf Rain. But Rain does not love the boy. Instead, he plans to use him for his own ends. You see, Rain's father possessed a great treasure given to him by the gods. But Rain's brother, Fafnir, killed his father and took the gold all for himself. Fafnir hid the treasure out on a heath and could not leave it. And from the evil in his heart, he turned into a dark creature. A dragon.
But dragons are good. At least I want them to be. So as you can tell, there were some letters missing in that.
It can see.
What can see?
But you can feel it. See you.
Fall?
It's watching you. Can you feel it?
Yeah, I missed a couple of those letters over there of the Lord, which is pretty annoying. But I'll get over it. I also just want to get through the game right now.
It can see.
What can see me? Oh my god. Wonderful.
It can see. But you can feel it. It can see.
So it autosave, so that can never mean a good thing.
Behind the door.
What is it?
She can feel it.
No.
Don't open the door.
Don't go in. Don't
Turn back.
What's in there?
A great beast guards Helheim. Garm is its name, and it knows you are here, Senua. It can smell your stink. What are you afraid of, Senua? How will you save Dillion if you are too much of a coward to step into the shadow?
They can't stop me.
Then do it!
Oh god.
Keep going.
Oh god.
She can't make it.
The beast is stalking you from the shadows. Your sword is useless here.
Run! Head back, it's too dangerous. Torch, give a torch.
Don't be fooled. The beast is still here.
Who is it? Something there. It's the beast.
No,
No, it's not.
it's a trick.
She knows that. Does she? What is that voice?
Mother, do you hear that?
Don't fall for it.
It's me, Senua.
It's so loud.
It's not her.
So full of hate.
It's a trap.
Just want to help them. Tell me what to do. Your father wants them to go away. And he only hurts me to silence them. But he's gone now.
They always come back. He says I will die if I go with them. They say that I'm already dead.
No,
And they want me with them.
stop.
That's why they crawl through the walls.
Don't
Do you
listen to them.
see them? Do you see their faces? He's coming. Senua, help me. Help, get me out of here. Don't go.
Where has she gone? She's disappeared again.
She shouldn't be here. She escaped the darkness. She took her own life to escape it.
So
She can't remember when it started. When her mother lost her smile. Her eyes gazing past her towards a world she could not see. This is what happens if you reach for the underworld, he said. It was a lot to take in for a child. And the first time she felt the cold chill of fear. I don't talk much about her father, Zinbel. I suppose I just didn't want to risk upsetting her. But it doesn't matter now, does it?
Okay, that wasn't creepy at all.
Her torch is going out. No, it's not. It's going to run out soon.
No.
She hasn't got much time. She's too slow. It's not going to burn out. The darkness will come again. Light. Light.
Where? Yeah, I bet I am. fix it? It's almost like it's one of those places again, it like just goes in circles. The voices definitely do not help. But this is way too far. This is so confusing. This is new. Go straight down.
The light ones. She can sense it. She's lighting the torch. Not gonna help. Send
Oh crap. Do I hate these fights? Especially that.
You can't go anywhere without your light. Take the torch and move.
Okay, but where did my torch go? So now, I don't have one. Oh.
She has it. She did it. She's done it. Well done.
This place. It reminds her of the isolating, suffocating darkness that she lived through as a young girl. Imprisoned in her room at night, the faces in the dark, coming through the walls. She once thought everyone could see them. I mean, that's what children say all the time, isn't it? That there are monsters in the dark. By the time she realized that only she could see them, her father, Zinbel, could see the monster in her.
So there's been a lot of mention all of a sudden in this part about her dad, Zinbel, which there hasn't been before. So I don't know what's going on right there, actually. So close, but I don't have it yet, do I?
She'll have to go under.
She can't.
She has to.
She can't.
I told you to go out.
Don't. Let's not touch. Go out. She can't do it. She can't do it. No.
The light's gone out. Run! Get through it as quick as you can. The palace.
Okay, so that was intense.
You have to rest here on the side. She's stuck. She doesn't know the room.
So she has a fear of the dark, too. That's...
Next light. Run, you must run. Look. Fire.
Where?
How will she get it? Fire. She has to go towards it. She'll have to go towards the light. She won't make it. Forget she's done. Where's the torch? Take it.
Okay, so...
Light it. The light. See it. She has it. Where is it? Now you're free to search.
No, I am free to search.
The light will keep us.
And I already kind of know where it is, 'cause there we go. It's close. So... There's no more torches.
Look. The roots.
What?
Can you feel them? Can you see them? Where are they? She can't see them. Where are they? She doesn't know. Your torch. Look. Is it this? Where is it? There it is. You have all the roots.
Do you feel? The beast is crawling into your mind, searching for weakness. It found your mother and used her to trap you in here.
Did you see her die? I don't remember. I was only 5. They told me she escaped the darkness.
that she's with the gods. But what if they lied? What if the darkness took her and trapped her here?
Where I actually am. So where does this go if I get... Oh, I can't go. Alright, now I got it.
It's open. I have to go through. She can get her mother out. Ah, mother does something. Where is he? It's just another trick. Don't. Stupid girl.
So by the sound of it.
No, she's there.
It's a trap. The beast is coming. Stupid human being. What have you done?
No! No!
You've lost him. It's over.
The darkness is back. Lost him. You've lost him. Get in the light!
Without his head, he will never bring his soul back. His fate is sealed. Now it can see you at your weakest. The time you suffered as a child at the hands of your father Zindo while you pined for Dillion. Do you remember that darkness, Senua? The beast is bringing it back.
Mother, why did you leave me? This darkness, it's spreading. Father's keeping me away from the others. Away from Dillion. I won't give up. I'm not going to rot in here. I'm going to find Dillion.
So, some might have seen, I don't know if you guys follow The Escapist on YouTube or Zero Punctuation. He just did a review on this game. Got posted today, and I watched it today. I understand some of his gripes, but as some of you also know, he hates almost everything he does. Reviews. So, I mean, judge for yourself, I would say. Maybe play it, but don't play, judge on my playthrough. I would definitely give it a try, because this is amazing to me. So one of the voices said keep your eyes up, so I am going to try and do that and not forget that with my torch in the ground and get faster down. Alright, so just one rune this time. Wonderful. Get up. Can't focus just yet. Fine.
You're stronger than him.
I know that, but I get out.
Get up quick.
Come on.
She's injured. She can still do it.
No. I dodged. Why didn't it take it? But I have read things about that it doesn't always dodge when you want it to exactly. Which is just also a part of the game and her condition. So, in other words, here we go again. Fun.
They've surrounded you. She's going to die. She can still do it.
Get it. Can't focus yet, though. Get up.
She's injured. She's not going to make it.
Is that one
The mirror.
behind me?
The mirror. Focus is coming back. She's injured. She can still do it. Focus now. It's nearly over.
Really hope it's almost over.
You won.
Oh my god. That was frustrating. New room. Let's go. I got it right there. There we go. So that was mainly the fight, basically. So there's a way to make it easier, the fights. There is a combat mode. Right in options, you can do it like that. I have it on automatic, so I'm assuming it means it gets harder as you go on. Which I'd rather have. I'm surprised I got this far already. Usually I get really bad at it really quickly. Super frustrated, but I got through it. There we go, baby.
But she wouldn't listen. He was doing his best. She never didn't she listen to him? Trying to help her. He was trying to save her from the darkness. Senua was right. Senua was trying to save her from the darkness. But she wouldn't listen. Just never choose it. And now everyone hates her because of her. It's all her fault. All her fault. Weak. So weak. She should have known. She should have. Why doesn't she learn? What will she learn? She doesn't understand. Now the darkness has Dillian's soul. And it will take it. And never give it back. She can search and search, but she will never find it. She's let the darkness in. It's the end. The darkness will take her like it took her mother. She can't resist. Pointless even trying to retrieve it.
Rain the dwarf's sole desire is to possess this dragon's accursed treasure, and he uses Sigurd to reclaim it. He tells Sigurd the story of Fafnir's gold, and the good-hearted hero promises to slay the dragon if Rain would forge a strong sword for him.
The beast has the head.
Sigurd remembers that his father once possessed a sword given to him by Odin. Odin broke the sword to bring about Sigmund's death, but Sigurd's mother still has the pieces. And so Rain reforges the famous sword. Sigurd uses the sword first to avenge his father, and then he and Rain go in search of Fafnir.
Plays into his hands. The darkness is coming. She was never there. It was just a trick. Across the walls, down. It uses her memory
dragon Fafnir is so large and deadly that it would be impossible to kill him face to face. But each day, Fafnir crawls across the heath to find water. So Sigurd digs a pit in the dragon's path and lies in wait in it. When Fafnir slithers overhead, Sigurd sinks his sword into the dragon up to the hilt. Sigurd leaps from the pit, and Fafnir sees his killer. He warns Sigurd that the treasure will lead to his death, as it led to the death of all who owned it. Sigurd replies that death comes to all men, and every man would want to be grateful until that day. And he takes the treasure.
It could all be a trick. Our mother was never here. The lights from us. She'll die. She can't. She hasn't. She can't. The darkness is, and she'll die. What's she doing?
She's lighting a fire.
Light. She's making a fire.
She's got light on the other side.
She'll be safe. What's the fire? What's she thinking?
I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know where. I need to get that bridge down somehow, probably, but I don't see how. Oh, dummy. So, I feel like I'm supposed to go.
She can do it.
I can do what though?
It's light on the other side. She can do it. She can do it. Faster, faster. Keep going, keep going. What did she do? Stop. Stop attacking her. Stop attacking her. She can't get through. She has to.
Okay then. Yeah, but
She can do it.
do what? Where do I go?
It's light on the other side. She can do it. Yes, she can do it. No, she can't. There's light on the other side. She can do it. She can make it.
So I have to somewhere find out where do I. Okay, let's go. Okay, so maybe the fire I lit over here earlier went out again now that it restarted. I really need to orient where I am too. Okay, so now this is the
What's she doing? What's she doing? She's lighting a torch. She's making light. She's making a fire. She's got light on the other side.
Okay, okay, so I have to run down there,
What's that?
knock over the bridge, and then get to the... oh god. Oh god. It's... I have a feeling this part's gonna frustrate me a lot. Because, so, the thing is, once the lights go out, when I get through the water and my torch goes out, I start seeing all those weird things, right? And all the voices that you guys can hear too. Well, I have my headphones on, so it's a little bit more direct and a little more insane, like, but it also seems like the controls don't seem to work as well. Then once I get through, and I tried running as a straight line right there, so straight ahead, but it seems like it doesn't work as well once it gets dark. So let's see if it goes this way. Alright. Plus, as soon as it gets really dark, I can't see. There, go down.
Get up!
Oh.
What are you doing?
Hey, that worked. Why is this all light now? Couldn't be all light earlier. I had to run. Oh god. Okay. Well. So why did I? Oh. Okay. Oh. There we go. So that's one thing also that, like, Zero Punctuation Yahtzee was talking about, that he thought was kind of stupid, that there's parts in here without the light I'll start going crazy and die, but I have a feeling that it's just an intense fear of the dark, since everything seems to be mental and related to that in some way or another. I assume that that part and the fact that she dies because of it is just intense for her. That she basically has a really severe fear of the dark. If it would kill you though, that's another story. But I don't know why it's not working. Oh, okay. I might need to look at this all over again. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's not creepy though.
She can't help but think of him. A tender guiding flame in a world so black. The longer it burned, the more she convinced herself that there was nothing beyond its reach. How little separates us from what we fear.
Keep the torch alight.
Although Sigurd kills the dragon, Rain wants to keep Fafnir's gold all for himself. Rain also wants the strength and wisdom of the dragon, so he drinks its blood and asks Sigurd to roast Fafnir's heart for him. Yum. Sigurd does so, but when he touches the roasted heart to see if it is done, he burns his finger. Without thinking, he licks his finger and tastes the dragon's blood. In that moment, he understands the language of birds and hears them talk nearby.
Keep the torch up. Keep the torch up. Treat the light.
I think the voices have gotten worse the further I am in the game right now. As they weren't always this loud, this prominent. There would be actual spots where there would be nothing happening and it would be quiet for a little bit, but it seems like it's almost constant. So, looks like I should be going down this hole. Okay. So these noises do really give me chills, honestly. My friends know... Oh god. Not creepy at all. So, my friends know how weird I get with games. I played Half-Life when I was a little kid. That actually freaked me out so bad. That freaked me out so bad that I was never able to play a game that was slightly scary again. Yeah.
I hear you. Come back to us. I'm coming for you.
Oh no.
I'm coming. Dillian, I see you.
Where?
No,
Oh no.
you're not taking it from me.
I warn you, Senua. I can smell your...
No,
You betrayed your god.
I am leaving with him.
You turned your back on me. That is why Dillian will rot in hell.
Oh fun. This will... Oh. Wonderful. How am I supposed to do this?
She won't make it.
Get up.
She's hurt.
Did it? That was really satisfying, though.
People think of evil as an unnatural, invisible force, and so invoke the gods for protection. But evil can come from the hand behind the gods. A familiar hand, cold and cruel. He tried to fix her with his rituals, kept her trapped in that hole. She couldn't say which was worse. The darkness. Or the monster that her father had become. She couldn't fight them both. And so she left, headed for the one ray of light that shone down on her. If she had stayed, she wouldn't have survived. But maybe Delian would still be alive.
I'm so sorry, my love.
She will save his soul. Even if this time she can't save her own.
Forgive me, Senua. I know you have no reason to trust me anymore.
Listen.
But believe this, it was my mission to make you hate, to hate the darkness with a passion so great it would focus your mind on this quest. United, I feel that your foes black. All this time I wanted to protect you from the truth that would have destroyed you a long time ago. But you have conquered your darkness at every turn. You deserve to see behind the veil of darkness.
Then take me to the mountain to trust as deep as we can go.
I won't stand in your way.
She has to trust him.
You will not survive what is in there.
I know.
She doesn't want to tell us.
Yeah, what's in there?
Come this far, she wants to go forward. This speaks. She wants to save Delian's soul. She must listen to the shadow.
So the voice of the shadow.
Mother, I won't let the darkness trick me again. I know you're safe with the gods. I can feel Hela's gaze, searching for secrets inside of me. Secrets that even I can't see. I'm not here to fight my past. I'm here for Delian. I will fulfill my vow, whatever the cost.
She's done it before. She can. She'll do it again. How will she do it? There must be a way. Somewhere you have to try. She'll never make it.
The Northmen say the world will come to an end. They call this Ragnarok, the destiny of the gods. First, there will be a terrible winter, 3 years long. Then, mankind will turn on itself. Brothers will fight each other to the death, and people will forget what they owe their kindred. Times will be hard. Crimes will be great. It will be an age of axes and swords. The wind will blow through abandoned halls. Wolves will walk where children played. The world will fall into ruin.
Well, doesn't that sound like a fun time coming up then, huh? Alright. Just gotta try and figure out where the hell I am. So there are parts in this game which my other ones are still up. The streams, the broadcasts. You have to look at it a certain way to try and fix it. As such,
She did it.
there are more parts. It's like it's a temporal shift or something. So now I have to get somewhere else up high enough. Probably I have to work back for again. Look at it a certain way and have it mend together, but I'm assuming there's gonna be a fight here now. I'm going back. I eventually also start learning the way I fight, at least according to the rules. No idea what's happening. God, how am I supposed to do this?
She can still do it.
Focus.
It's not over. It's not over. Behind you. Behind you.
I block too.
Behind you.
Oh my god, actually made it in one time. Alright.
She do it?
Where did I just...
What will she do?
Okay.
How's she going to find his actual soul? Where does Helen keep the souls? How will she get it? What will Helen want in return? She must bargain. No. She'll kill Helen. She cannot bargain with Helen. She's not strong enough to kill
like I'm strong enough
No
to
one
kill
can
Hela.
bargain with Hela.
What does Helen want? What can she give her? She could give her her own soul. No. She can't. It's a worthless soul.
But it's all she has to give.
She has a warrior soul. What more could she give? A cursed soul.
Of course she is, no matter what she does.
She can fight up her arm.
She can fight her. She can fight her at Ragnarok.
She
can see it.
The bridge.
She can't cross the bridge. It's broken.
She has to fix it.
It's too dangerous.
She's done it before. You have to fight her. The final battle. Get his soul back.
It's the final task.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This isn't just a broken bridge, is it? Mother, you showed me how to see further. To see the hidden wonders in our world and explore new paths into the unknown. To lead so that others may follow, or to warn so that they may avoid. That is our gift and our duty. I'm not going to look away in fear anymore.
The Northmen say the gods will fight their last battle at Ragnarok. Their watchmen will blow the horn that can be heard through the whole world. And Odin will speak with the severed head of Mimir, which gives him good counsel. The land of the giants will thunder with the sound of their army on the move. The gods will assemble. The dwarves will leave their stones. The frost giants will come from the east. The Midgard serpent will turn up the waves. Eagles will scream and tear at the corpses with their yellow beaks. The ship of the dead will set sail.
So, fun fact.
The Northmen say
Or at least
the gods will fight
fun-
their last battle.
Well,
The
I don't even know
Northmen
if it's a
say
fact
the
necessarily.
gods will fight their last
But
battle.
I remember as a
Ragnarok.
kid,
Their watchmen will blow
me
the
and
horn
my
that can
best
be
friend
heard
back
through the
then,
whole
we would
world.
try to
And
write
Odin will speak with the
messages to
severed
each
head
other.
of Mimir, which
Oh my God,
gives him
shut
good
up, dude.
counsel. The land of the giants will thunder with the sound of their army on the move. The gods will assemble. The dwarves will leave their stones. The frost giants will come from the east. The Midgard serpent will turn up the waves. Eagles will scream and tear at the corpses with their yellow beaks. The ship of the dead will set sail.
alright, so, now that he's done, what I was saying was that me and my best friend, we would try to talk to each other in class by not actually speaking but writing notes, but we didn't want anybody else to know what we were writing about. So, instead of making our own writing, we looked some up and ended up finding runes, and now I actually can read a little bit of what it says. It's a little hard to see now though, because honestly it's now that they're lit up, it's a lot harder to see. But I think it said seek help. What was it? Seek help. Seek help truth. There were like a couple things, yeah, just can't see it as well anymore. Maybe at some point I should be able to see it. Maybe I have a screenshot still. I might actually, of it not lit up like in the beginning of the game, which I might be able to look up later. So, see, there's a distortion right here going on, but I don't see what exactly is being distorted. So, but if it was something I was supposed to look at, I would have known, because my controller would have been vibrating, which it isn't. So, and you wouldn't hear that sound.
She can do it.
I did do it.
See the secrets. She thinks so special.
Special is a word for it.
She must see. She has the sight. She can see their secrets.
See, but what do I have to see where now so I can get in there?
There's an illusion. She's found a way. There's a way. She can see. She must align herself. She can do it. There's not. She aligns herself. It's there.
But how? From where? Oh. Huh. Okay. So, through there we go. It's kind of like earlier in the game when I had to defeat the God of Illusion. Balraven or something. There were illusions like that that you had to figure out and find new portals that would show up just like that. There's multiple. I'm gonna bet this one's locked. Okay, so now I actually can see it better. So it says, "Seek helps." Yeah, seek helps. Truth is mirror. That part I couldn't read down there. Something us. Maybe I can't read all of it, but at least I read
The
some of that.
Northmen say that at Ragnarok, the gods will face a ship full of their foes, which Loki has steered to Asgard. It carries the fire giants, the wolf that will eat the sun, and all kinds of dark creatures. Surt will join them with his sword of fire. The cliffs will crash. Trolls will walk the land. Men will tread the road to hell, and the heavens will split open.
That sounded frightened. Oh god, there's two of them? How wonderful. Oh.
Get up, quick! She's hurt. She won't make it.
Of course, sure. Because there's gonna be two of those humongous things there. And from what I gather, nobody's actually gotten as far as that rot actually getting to the head and thus losing all of your progress. Still trying to figure out if that's true or not. Get off! Yeah, I know I need to focus. Can I yet?
They're coming for you! He can breathe. Remember your the mirror. Focus is coming back. Must remember. She can. The new focus is building.
Okay, so well-placed Perry can get the job done too. Now, as usual, I forget. Where the hell did I come from? Nope. Here, okay. Yep. Okay. I remember. So, let's go over here. I'm assuming I have to... It's my special eyes. Fix the print. No, that's it. Well, what do I do up here? That's like... Okay. Lore stone.
The Northmen say that each god will do battle at Ragnarok. Odin will fight the monstrous wolf and be killed, but his son will avenge him and plunge his sword into the heart of the beast. Freyr will face Surt, but he had given his sword away for love, and without it, he cannot defend himself against the flames. Thor will smite the Midgard serpent to no avail. The sun will grow black, the earth will sink into the sea, the stars will disappear, fire and water will meet, steam will shoot up, flames will play against the sky, the heavens and earth and all the world will be burned, all the gods will be dead, and the warriors of Valhalla and the people everywhere. Senua, prepare yourself for Ragnarok. For it is nigh.
That's the first time that Lore Stone has actually mentioned my character. So, Don't start talking again. I swear to God.
The Northmen said
Oh, whatever.
God will do battle.
Seek
at Ragnarok.
Hela's truth.
Odin will fight the monstrous
In
wolf and be
mirror.
killed, but his son will avenge him.
God's
Plunge his sword into the heart of the beast. Freyr will face Surt, but he'll give him
betray
sword away
us.
for love, and without it, he cannot defend himself against the flames. Thor will smite the Midgard serpent to no avail. The sun will grow black. The earth will sink into the sea. The stars will disappear. Fire and water will meet. Steam will shoot up. Flames will play against the sky. The heavens and earth and all the world will be burned. All the gods will be dead. And the warriors of Valhalla and
So
the
dramatic.
people everywhere. Senua, prepare yourself for Ragnarok. For it is nigh.
So, when you read it from the top right there, you see that little dot. So, when you read to the right clockwise, I made a mistake earlier. It's seek Hela's truth in mirror. Gods betray. Gods betray us. And I can't figure out the last part. Unaes, unless it's uneasy fear. So, I did tell you basically from the start about Hela. Something about Hela isn't right then, I guess. Gods betray us. Alright, well the bridge is done, so let's see. But before I get over the bridge, I'm going to have a quick bathroom break for just a second. Oh, okay, that's right. For just a quick second, so I will be back in a jiff. Alright. So, back I am. Alright. Just had to also get out some food. Gonna make some dinner for tonight. Since my boyfriend's home later, which normally never happens. Usually it's him that's here sooner, so. Alright. See if this is going to be really the final battle or not. For some reason I feel the need to double check this over here. But that's actually locked, okay. Last time I went over a bridge this big, did not go well. Bitch Hella showed up. Oh. What? Defend myself from being. She's injured. No. Behind you. Come on. I feel like this is like the last bit of this fight. She's injured. She can still do it. Get out of here! End it now. Quickly get up. Oh, okay. She can still do it. Focus. Get up, quick. Focus. Focus. Find oh my God. no! Oh my god, I forgot that one was still alive. I thought I killed it. Oh my god. Okay. So I guess I have to do that whole thing again. That sucks balls. But hopefully this time that means I know better. I don't know what the hell happened there. Well, not much of an improvement so far. Well, that's not fair. I couldn't move. I was trying to dodge. Oh, well, I guess I explained that before. Alright. Moving along. I don't have to see this every time. Okay, that was weird. Why are you there? Well, yeah, there's someone in front of me. I need my focusing, but I can't. Get up.
Behind you!
Oh my god, this is getting way too intense again. I'm not the last one. I need to learn to block more. Seriously. End it. Oh. Alright. Well, I got better that time. I got through it quicker when I got to the last one. So, that's a good.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
God!
Quickly get up! She's injured. She's not gonna make it. Behind you!
happening. God damn it.
She's hurt. She won't make it. Go.
Screw up.
Get up quick.
Come on. Oh.
You can do this. Make it. Go again.
I guess we're at this point
Focus,
again.
focus. Quick,
Okay.
focus
I know.
now. Focus. Behind you.
Come on, focus.
Finish.
Okay, okay. A lot of them are like almost dead, so that's good. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Come on.
It's not over.
Can't die now. I'm really close. I got focus, but can't risk it yet.
She's injured. She needs focus.
Get 'em. Oh.
Did you hear? The path to hell. I can sense her. Where is she going?
Oh my god, that was annoying. Only took me 4 times.
She's getting closer.
Jesus.
She's going to die. I'm scared. Wait. What happens when she dies?
Yeah, what does happen if I die? Because I'm in.
Wait. What? What happens when she dies? What happens to us? What happens to us? We die too. Do we die too? We die too. I don't know.
We'll all die someday.
I don't want to die.
And when everyone's gone, even the gods will die.
We don't want to die. I don't want to die. Senua, stop. Turn back. Stop. Stop. Why is she going? Stop. Senua, stop. Why won't she stop to die? She wants to stop. 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 I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I'm sorry. I didn't ask you to be a part of me. If you don't want to die with me, Then leave me alone.
That's a way to play that game.
I don't want to die. Please stop. 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 You'll never come back if you go there.
There is nothing to go back to.
We only have each other now. Don't abandon me.
Everyone suffers. They were right about me.
Listen to me, not them. They were afraid. Like children scared of the dark.
So was I.
They made up monsters to fill the void. That doesn't make them real.
They made them real.
No!
Follow your soul and let go of the Senua of old. For there lies your weakness, and the darkness will find it.
I'm honestly somewhat clueless as to what just happened.
It's not like the old stories, is it? The noble warrior facing evil in search of victory and honor. Clear dividing lines. No. Oh, this place is not quite like that. It's as if it knows that true torment lies within. Memories you cannot defeat, cannot escape. This is her hell.
Oh my god, that ring. Close enough. God's betrayals. Unmask. Ah.
Turn away, Senua! Turn away, Senua!
Do you see it, Senua? Do you see the darkness? Faces fear and suffering. I see it.
I remember it clearly now.
She has nothing to fear anymore. The gods have saved your mother. Through my hand.
You killed her.
It is the will of the gods.
Fuck the gods! You did this to her! Why?
This is what happens when you listen to the voices of the underworld. They crawl into your soul and rot you from the inside. Defy the gods like your mother, and the darkness will come for you too. You understand, Senua?
I do understand. You cursed me with your own madness. I was just a child. You created this darkness! You created this darkness so you could hide behind it!
Only suffering brings salvation. It is the way of the gods.
It was all a lie. You are a lie! She didn't defy the gods. She defied you! And so you killed her!
You didn't pray to the gods. You prayed to your mother. Your mother, who was too weak to fight the darkness and abandoned you.
You tortured her! You killed her! You are the darkness!
Oh my god, this is intense.
Those rituals, the years of isolation, the pain that still haunts you. It was the only way to fight the curse within you.
You're a liar.
The darkness is inside you and it will destroy you.
You're a liar!
No, Senua. The darkness is here. You cannot wish it away. And it will watch as you draw the last dying gasp.
I won't let you kill me!
Oh god.
You're surrounded, Senua. Watch out. Behind you. Watch out.
Oh my god.
Careful, Senua. Behind you. Behind you. Watch out. Watch out. Behind you. Be careful, Senua.
I can see through your darkness! You're a liar and a murderer! And if you really are Hela, then I have a sword here that can kill a god!
Look at you. Run forward with me. backwards to wallow your miserable past. You're making a mistake searching for Dillion. The same mistake that killed him in the first place.
Not again.
I'm trying to save you from yourself. You still believe it is a lie? The plague of darkness, the butchering of Dillion by the Northmen. You saw it yourself.
You told everyone I was cursed. They believed you. I believed you.
Tell Senua, where is Dillion's soul if the darkness is a lie? How you saved him?
He's here. I know he's here.
I gotta say, the music is pretty awesome.
Dillion, I know you're here. Hold on. I'll find you.
Oh my god, that's Valravn. Oh. That's not nice. Oh. Ah. God. Wonderful. Have the god of illusion and the fire god against you.
Behind you. Watch out.
Ah. What? Oh my god.
You're trying to trick me again with your lies. I know he's here. You took him from me. You have him.
Dillion is gone. Dillion is dead. Let him go. I'm warning you.
What? What can you do to me that you haven't already? Fight me! Come on!
You betrayed your own father. You betrayed the gods in search of Dillion, in search of love. Look where that's got you. Let go of your battle. Let go of redemption. Let go of Dillion. Don't let your darkness hurt anyone else.
Watch out.
Oh my god.
Let go of your battle. You don't have to fight anymore.
You're going to die. You're going to die. Stop. You're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. Killing yourself. Silence him behind you. Behind you. Behind you. Watch out. Let go of your battle. You've done enough. Watch out. Watch out. Be careful, son. Let go of Dillion. Let go of your battle. Stop. You're killing yourself. Careful, son. Behind you. Careful, son. Let go. Go,
Oh
son.
my god. How long is this gonna go on for?
Careful, son.
Ah! Oh, I'm actually supposed to die this time? Oh, okay.
If you're alive, and there's no darkness, then you never took him from me, did you? And I can't save doing it. Is that what you want me to believe? After all you've done to me? And to him? You're not a liar, but you're a liar! You crawled into me to confuse me and deceive me. But I know he's here. I know you have him. I'll give you my life. That's what you want, isn't it? My soul. Take it. I'll be a slave for you. I'll fight with you at Ragnarok. If you release it. I've got nothing left. No fear. No hate. have no power over me.
I learned the hard way to not be afraid of death, Senua. Because a life without loss is one without love. You turn your back on death, and all you can see is the shadow that it casts. The longer you hide from it, the longer the shadow grows until all you can see is darkness. When our time comes, we must look death in the eye and embrace it as a friend. Only then can we let go of our fear. And emerge from our darkness.
Never forget what it is like to see the world as a child, Senua. Every autumn leaf is like a work of art. Every rolling cloud a moving picture. Every day a new story. We too emerge from this magic, like a wave from the ocean, only to return to the sea. Do not mourn the waves, the leaves, and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again. This is where my story once began. And so it has to end here. Because I cannot see further than this.
Follow us. We have another story to tell.
My friend. visions of our memories, thoughts, and fears, as seen by our inner eye. But what if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake? And we only see what our inner eye creates for us. Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares. Maybe that's why people fear seeing the world through her eyes.
Yes, she's scared.
Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a video game about Senua, a Celtic warrior on a vision quest into Viking territory. But what sets our hero Senua apart is that she suffers from severe psychotic mental illness.
He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching.
The original idea for Hellblade was to create a classic hero's journey, a journey of suffering, but one where the fantasy world is not another planet or alternate universe, but a world that is constructed in Senua's mind. But to do so would mean putting psychotic mental illness at the center of the experience, a subject that is still considered taboo, and a challenge that was both terrifying and exciting in equal measure. In Hellblade, the starting point was a newly discovered Celtic goddess called Senua in Ashwell, Hertfordshire. When first discovered, her name was thought to be Senua, a name which I liked and kept. I wondered if Senua might have been a Celtic warrior like Boudica who stood up to the Romans. While the Romans had conquered all of Europe, there was a group of Celts up in the furthest reaches of the Roman Empire that could not be conquered, the Picts. And so the Romans built a wall, called Hadrian's Wall, that spans across Britain from sea to sea to keep the Pictish barbarians at bay. The Picts were known for their war paint, painted on with woad, and their matted hair clumped with lime. And so Senua would be a barbarian Pict in this image.
What's your name?
Senua,
I haven't seen you before.
I don't live home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait.
Orkney is off the coast of Scotland and was inhabited by the Picts, steeped in history and mystery, and so I made Orkney Senua's home and set the stage for a crisis. In the late 8th century, the first Vikings landed on the Orkney Islands. The population of the Picts crashed thereafter, replaced by the Norsemen of the 9th century. Were they wiped out? We don't know for sure, but it would seem likely given the reputation of the Vikings. The Northmen's brutality is legendary. High-ranking leaders and chieftains of the tribes they conquered were often offered as sacrifice to their gods. The most brutal of these sacrifices was known as the Blood Eagle. I imagine Senua as a young female warrior who returns home from exile to find her partner, Dillion, brutally sacrificed to a Norse god by these hellish warriors from a faraway land. I imagine the horror of this moment and how it would have dragged her deep into mental torment.
No!
I came to learn that the Celts had a sophisticated and nuanced perspective on the nature of mental disorder. One term they used was Gelt. A Gelt is a man or woman who has been driven mad by a curse, battle trauma, or grief. The Gelt would take to a life in the woods in search of penance, punishment, and purgation. And so Senua became a Gelt, cursed by darkness, looking for redemption in the wilds. Another word the Celts used in reference to mental disorders was truth, meaning fool, or
Liar.
one who utters the words of God. They tell of the mad sinner who flees battle into exile and takes on a beastly nature, growing feathers on his body. The character called Ruth in Hellblade is based on a little-known person called Findan, an 8th century Irish Celt who was captured and enslaved by the Vikings, but eventually escaped to Orkney where he became a monk.
I will tell you my stories of hell, if I may walk with you.
Upon meeting Senua, it would be his stories that fuel her quest deep into their world of gods.
The Northmen say the world will come to an end.
The sun will grow black, the earth will sink into the sea, the stars will disappear, fire and water will meet, flames will play against the sky,
The heavens and earth and all the world will be burned, all the gods will be dead, and the warriors of Valhalla and people everywhere.
Senua, prepare yourself for Ragnarok, for it is nigh.
So the stage was set for a new adventure, a journey into the Norse underworld called Hell, a vision quest fueled by madness and myth, a fantasy that was created by Senua's own mind, and one that we would experience through her eyes.
This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left.
To make a game about a warrior with psychotic mental illness as its central theme was fraught with danger. Mental illness, such as psychosis, is still taboo and rarely acknowledged in a century of cinema, never mind the new medium of games. Where it does feature, it often conflates psychosis and psychopathy associated with a lack of empathy. It is unfortunate that these two words sound so similar that they are used interchangeably in media. I must admit that I didn't have to look very far to discover my own ignorance of the subject. So we reached out to Paul Fletcher, psychiatrist and professor of health neuroscience at University of Cambridge.
Psychosis is a descriptive term, and it refers to having a loss of contact with objective reality. So it's characterized by two main sets of symptoms. One of them is hallucinations, where somebody experiences perceptions when there is no actual objective thing out there to perceive.
You're already dead. Who are you?
And the other is delusions, where somebody comes to very often bizarre, unpleasant, frightening beliefs when there's no good evidence in favour of them.
There's no doubt about it. The source of the darkness is in Helheim. And the goddess Hela holds his soul there.
We reached out to Welcome, a biomedical research charity that spends billions on research and awareness programs aimed at improving health.
Mental health hasn't always been presented in the media in a way that is particularly helpful. It can be challenging to engage people with the subject matter, and there are a lot of preconceived ideas about mental health, and particularly schizophrenia and psychosis. So we hope our support allows the team to continue to collaborate with Paul Fletcher and with those who have experience of psychosis to create a game that provides a fresh perspective on the condition and allows audiences to engage with it in a way that just wouldn't be possible in any other medium.
What started out as a brief consultation convinced me that we were only scratching the surface of an immensely deep and interesting subject that could enrich and change the very nature of the game.
That's cool. Thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure. Thanks. It's really interesting for me. I'd love to be involved. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Our understanding of psychosis is still very much a mystery, and ways of treating it are still primitive compared to physical illness. After all, it is easy to see the pain and suffering caused by physical diseases or physical trauma. It is not so easy to see the mental suffering and trauma of severe mental illness. But what if we could find a way to see it? Games are capable of drawing you in for hours on end, playing the role of a character who is different from you, experiencing their perspective, and actively involving you in a world that functions with a different set of rules. If we were to represent Senua's psychosis, we would have to simulate voice hearing, a common attribute. But how can we simulate something we have no first-hand experience of? Professor Charles Fernyhough, a leading expert in voice hearing from Durham University, offered his help.
Hearing voices is an experience that is usually associated with severe mental illness, and crucially we know that hearing voices is a part of ordinary life for many people who don't meet the criteria for mental illness.
Yeah. Oh, that's not him in real life.
We know voices vary according to where they appear in space. Voices can appear far away in the distance, they can appear right there in your ear, they can seem to be coming from inside your head.
Based on the information Professor VNINIE provided, I put together a sound brief and invited some actors to the studio. We recorded the actors using a binaural microphone, which records the 3D spatial position of sound, replicating the way sound is heard by human ears. It gives you an incredible sense that the person you are listening to is right there beside you.
Can't see how she's going.
Rachel Waddingham from the Voice Collective came to our studio with 2 young voice hearers to speak to our team. We talked at length about their experiences and they listened to our tests, giving us feedback on how we could improve on it.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
It's very hard to represent what this experience is like, partly because it's such a personal, intense, emotional experience. It's testament to how Ninja Theory have been listening to what the researchers are saying, but also, crucially, listening to the experts by experience. What they've come up with is so compelling. It's by far the best representation I've heard of what these experiences are like.
Other common attributes of psychosis are visions and flashbacks. We met with Recovery College East, who work with and care for people recovering from severe mental disorders. A group of service users gave us their first-hand account of what they experience.
Sometimes when the visions or what we're seeing is too much, it becomes more difficult until eventually we practically don't see anything.
The people we spoke to, the stories they told, were fascinating, harrowing and mind-boggling. The reality of what people experienced was vivid, far exceeding what I could possibly have imagined. We went away itching to represent some of these visions and flashbacks in the game.
As we all know, my heart is so, love is so far away. Don't you know how I wanna feel deeper? I could never know how you grow, all these days are killing me. Now I see deep in me insanity does unfold. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper. As we all know, my heart is so, love is so far away. Don't you know how I wanna feel deeper? I could never know how you grow, all these days are killing me. Feel like this, read like this, I just wanna live, that's all. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper. I just wanna feel deeper, deeper.
To refine our work, we continue to hold meetings with Recovery College East over the course of a year and a half, showing them what we had achieved so far and refining the in-game representations based on their feedback. With their help, flashbacks, visions and changes in perception were woven into the story and gameplay of Senua.
The students that are involved in this project are incredibly excited about being involved. They have described the experience as being important because it values their lived experience and shows that despite what we have been through, all of that experience becomes valid, that actually it's something that we should all be talking about.
The experiences described range from beautiful to frightening beyond comprehension. I heard of a girl who has to live with an angry voice screaming at her, slamming on her doors and walls 24 hours a day. I met someone who would often see hanging corpses in a room, so real that she would sometimes try to rescue them. The panic and fear that comes with such visions is entirely understandable, and it can be a living horror for some.
Worthless, weak, pathetic. Go on, feel sorry for yourself, because there is no one left to do that for you.
I was urged by one fellow that we should not shy away from showing this horror, and so I was perpetually torn in making Hellblade. Had we gone too far with our representations or not far enough?
Broken and lost. Just like your soul.
Come on. There.
some ways, voice hearing and visions were the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. There's another aspect of psychosis that is much harder to explain, but one that I think video games are uniquely able to represent, which are often called delusions.
People begin to see patterns in the world. They begin to link things that most people wouldn't link. Most of the things that we might think would be coincidence or, not worth commenting on. Nevertheless, that might have a particular salience or importance for them.
One individual described how everyday words, sounds, colours and objects were steeped in meaning to him, forming a strange and sinister puzzle that he was determined to solve but could not quite get to the bottom of.
It's not just brain dysfunction. It's not like the system shut down. It's actually an incredibly creative process. The person creates a world populated with voices and phantasms and terrors, and they're completely immersed in it. They believe in it.
We often invite people into the studio to play the game. In one of our playtests, they played through much of the game, making associations between runes, secret messages, and the threat of darkness that stalked them. There are many things that happen in the world of Hellblade that make perfect sense within the context of Senua's mind. The dark rot that's killing her slowly from within, the secret runes of the gods that block her path to Helheim, and strange associations that exist in the game to confuse you. To complete Senua's quest, you have to internalize and accept the logic and meaning behind these things to progress. Afterwards they said that they didn't see much evidence of mental illness in the game. People with delusions of all sorts would argue the same thing, that they are not aware of their experience being abnormal in any way.
I need this sword. It's important.
Representing perception changes and thinking patterns within Hellblade gives us a set of symptoms common in psychosis. But people with lived experience were keen to emphasize another point, that it is wrong to define a person by their symptoms. Quite often, the illness comes not from the symptoms, but from the stigma, isolation and mistreatment that comes about from the rest of society.
They say that I'm cursed. What if they're right?
I needed someone to portray Senua, someone who could believably internalize her suffering. Melina Jurgens, our video editor, had been a stand-in for Senua over a few months while we perfected our motion capture techniques. Without realizing it, she had already auditioned for the role, and I knew her well enough to know that I didn't have to teach her to act, but to relive her own internal pain. As often is the case, those who have suffered mental anguish are never far from us. My hope is that by creating a compelling and aspirational character in Senua who feels very much real, albeit in a fantasy setting, we can provide a lens into her reality, a different one to yours, and this is where storytelling comes into play. I imagined her life based on common threads in real people's lives. She was always prone to psychosis as a child. Her mother Galina also heard voices and had visions, so perhaps there was a genetic aspect. Or perhaps it was cultural, as she lived within a world without science, of gods and superstition, as exemplified by her druid father Zimbal. Psychosis developed in her late teens to early 20s and was exasperated by stigma and isolation at the hands of the clansmen and her father.
This darkness. It's spreading.
The trauma of seeing her lover Dillian sacrificed tips her over the edge, making her remodel her reality around a concept that connects everything: the darkness. So the question, is what Senua experiences real? Can only be answered by saying, yes, it is real. It is her reality.
All of her suffering will have been for nothing. It's just a matter of time.
Towards the end of the project, service users and professionals that had collaborated with us were invited to see the near-final game. It was a chance to see if the game had reflected their views or if it had misrepresented them.
For me, being involved in especially developing Senua's character has been really important, and being able to bring in my perspective and what I see and what I hear, and having that built into the game has been a real privilege. It's gritty and it's meaty, and there are some tough subjects in there that are being tackled with honesty. I was blown away by it today, absolutely blown away. It was just fantastic to get the opportunity to use our lived experience in a very creative way. There's nothing tokenistic about the work we've put in. It feels like we've been listened to, things have been taken on board, and I think there was a lot of realism in the game itself, and it feels very authentic.
Hellblade will give people a good experience of what it's like to hear voices and have those experiences. I'm glad that the guys at Ninja Theory kind of asked us to come along and help them build an experience that's positive. When it comes out, and get myself a copy and have a go.
Dude, you don't get it for free. You help make the damn game.
I think all the way through, I was really inspired by how the conversations have translated into the game in a way that I think I didn't imagine was possible. So wonderful, really wonderful.
I really hope that others will follow the lead they've set and use the power of something like a video game to change people's perceptions, to increase understanding, and ultimately to make some of the stigma around voice hearing and other experiences go away.
For me, it was really exciting to see something that I explore scientifically being represented so beautifully in a character who's trying to penetrate the mysteries of the environment in which they've been placed, with all of this strange uncertainty and noise and conflicting information that they're getting. I'm very excited by this way of trying to represent mental illness, because I think it actually might be offering us insights that we wouldn't get from pure scientific explorations, and actually giving us quite an empathic view of what it might be like.
Mental illness has been with us for as long as we have been on this planet, but why? Why hasn't evolution stamped out this weakness from within our gene pool? I often pondered this question until I realized that the question had an inbuilt flaw. It assumes that being and thinking differently is a weakness. The only reason we have computers, spacecraft, medicine, poetry, art, and yes, even video games is because individuals are able to simulate new abstract realities in their minds and share them with the rest of us. We need people to be willing to see differently in order for us to progress and survive as society. And we need to be open to these new ways of seeing. And it is this spirit that motivated me to create Senua's story and share it with you.
That was nice. Okay, well, I guess Hellblade's done. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna tune out for today, so I will be back sometime this week. Hopefully, if all goes well. So, tune in soon.